Welcome to this topic video on static site generators. So our learning objectives here are to find out about the advantages of static websites. Okay. Find out what a static site generator does and why we want one, and learn about and use the Metalsmith static site generator as an example of a static site generation system, a very general one. Okay. Provided for you to go with this lecture is a zip. This zip is of a repo. That means the examples are different branches in the repo. Okay. So you have to do a couple things, download and unzip it, and then do some basic commands. Okay. To understand this more fully, see the instructions in the slides using the static gen repo. Okay. A static web page is a web page that is delivered to the user exactly as it is stored. Okay. Now, being stored could be on hard disk, could be on SSD, could even be in memory if it's that frequently visited page. Okay. The idea is, though, it's not created, okay, by a dynamic process. It's not created on the fly by a server or a web application. Okay, so whatever it's stored as is what is delivered to the end user. Now, it used to be that people thought static websites were old-fashioned. That's flipped around now. Static websites are actually quite good. Okay. They're very good as far as security, reliability, and speed. In addition, they're cheaper to host. Okay. You can find more hosts available. They scale very well. Okay. And so and in addition, you can take advantage of technology advancements in producing the site and such like that. Okay. So static websites are not an ancient history thing, okay? Even though that's what people did at the very beginning of the web, it's good to do that now, except we do them in a different way, okay? Because in dealing with static websites, especially as they get large, we have a need to create all our pages or pages with a consistent look and feel. Maybe not all the pages have the same look and feel, but subsets of pages have consistent looks and feels for the different parts of the site. We've got this thing that we learned about when we did our hand-created pages, the issue of broken links. Okay, we want to make sure that things get linked properly and that we don't have to redo a bunch of work on recreating links all over the place. We'd like that to be general. Okay. We'd also like to make it easier to update pages and such like that. We'd like to be able to check and test the pages and things like that. We want to automate this process. Okay? So that's what static site generators are. They're software to help create and maintain a static site. Okay? So you use them to help you generate the site. Then that site gets deployed and delivered. Okay? This is not server software that creates pages on the fly. This is software to help us create a whole static site. Data changes, we run the generator again, create the new updated static site. Okay, completely legit way to do things. Okay, especially since if it's a very large site, we may only be updating a few pages, and so we won't actually be updating everything there. Okay. Now, static site generators come with a huge range of functionality. Some are very specific for a blog, or some are very specific to documentation generators. Okay, some are very general purpose. Okay, they're kind of general libraries. The main languages you'll see used for static site generators is JavaScript, Python, Ruby, and Go. If you want to see a list of the up-to-date and popular frameworks, go over to static gen. Just be aware that it's not just the one page, okay? Because there's different types of criteria for different types of things. So if I come over here and I say NEJS for the template, I see my popular Metalsmith uh, static site generator jump to the top, okay, of the near the top of the list with a lot of stars and things like that. Given so many choices, how did I decide? Well, first of all, I didn't want to require, since in this class we haven't learned React or learned Vue, I didn't want the static site generator to be dependent on a front-end framework, okay? And I wanted it to be very general, okay? Could use any templating system. So 11T is a good one, okay, because it doesn't require that. And of course, we're working in JavaScript, so that put Hugo out. So if I say JavaScript, okay, so I see Next.js is very popular, and that's great if you already know React and you've got a lot of stuff done in React. But if I go to NEJS, okay, I see that Metalsmith is up here. Okay, I wanted as general a generator that required as little extra knowledge as possible. For my examples, what you choose may be dependent on your precise needs. Okay, so let's talk about this static site generator. Okay, Metalsmith's homepage, they call it an extremely simple pluggable static site generator. Okay. Metalsmith and his plugins are all NPM packages. Okay, so these my slides here, go get the slides. We'll show you how to do all the installations of what we've gone through. So what are the basic concepts? And this is why I like Metalsmith. They talk about those concepts right up front. The task of a static site generator is to produce static build files for things that can be deployed to a web server. Okay, these are built from source files. Okay. As programmers, we're used to starting with source files and producing a program. In this case, we're starting with source files and producing a website. Okay, so here's how this is going to flow. From a source directory, read the source files and extract their information. Manipulate that information and write the manipulated information into files in a destination directory. A basic processing flow we got going here. Okay. Third part of their basic concepts, plugins. Metalsmith is built on this reasoning. It takes the information from the source files, from a source directory, and it writes the manipulated informations to a destination directory. All the manipulations, however, it leads exclusively to plugins. Okay, so you tell it what processing or manipulations you want to do by using various plugins. Okay, so let's take this to an extreme. Okay, oh, sorry, one more thing to say about this. Manipulations can be about anything. They can be translating, okay, they can be performing markdown to HTML conversion. They can be using templates, replacing variables, wrapping content, all sorts of anything you'd like. Okay. So let's see this basic flow in operation. So I'm going to start. Not there, but here. Here's my example directory. I'm on the basic branch. We see there's a source directory. In that source, I've got some random files I put in there. Okay, what's in them isn't terribly important. Okay, let's just take a look at one to see that this is just some text. Okay, yet more testing of a simple text. This is not a markdown file, since it ends in txt and not md. Okay, that was enthusiastic. Okay, now That's our directory structure. Okay. Remember working with Node.js. So after we've installed Metalsmith, we're going to go Metalsmith require to bring in the library. But then look at this. Metalsmith dir name. What's dir name? Oh, that's the directory name where this file is executing. Okay. Everything's going to be relative to that name. Okay. Then we specify the source directory, the build directory. We say clean true to clean the destination before the build process. Okay, and then we have a thing where we build. Okay. So let's run this. Let's see if this does anything. Okay, let's look at this build directory. Oh, let's actually see that that real file exists. But I'm about to run source, build. I got some other junk in there that we'll see in a sec. Okay, so I'm going to run node build.js. Okay. Oh, look at this. This is great. All the files showed up. All the files from the source directory showed up in the build directory. Is this cool? This is great. This is wonderful. We are off to the start. Okay. What happened? Okay. Metalsmith copied all the files from the source directory into the build directory. This is amazing. Okay. Can you think of other ways to do this without Metalsmith? Can you? Professor, are you feeling okay? Yeah. We can just copy and paste them. Okay. What else can we do? We can ignore certain files. Let's try that. Okay, so. Okay. Let's see. Let's try undoing this. Ignore dot the weird data files. Run it again. Run it again. Oops. Did I save? Save. Run it again. Run it again. Oops, not that one. Build. Okay, let's see what happened this time. Ooh. Well, that's a little bit better than simple cut and pasting. It ignored those other files. Okay. Now I'm being funny here, obviously. Okay. That's professorial humor. Okay. So we were able to ignore files. Now, we said that without any plugins, Metalsmith's not going to do anything. Okay. Okay. Now, first, let's understand a bit about what this code is. This is kind of strange looking. Metalsmith.source.destination.clean. What kind of code is this? Have you ever seen this kind of code before? Maybe, maybe not. Okay. This is JavaScript method chaining. Okay. Come on, give it a try. Okay. We've seen it a bit with standard JavaScript objects. Look, I said my string is website development code the web. Okay. Then I go my string dot to lowercase. Oh, that returns the string in a lowercase version. Then I run this includes function on it. Okay. Oops, I said copy. Okay, go to the console. We don't need to see this. See all that stuff? Okay. Let's paste that down. Okay. Run it. Okay. It came back with true because my string, yeah, dot, what did I say? To lowercase dot code the web, yeah. Then if I go includes web, be false, but true. Oh, so that's method chaining. Okay, let's try it with this other example. Okay, paste my date, new date. So I take the date, I return a string, I convert that to lowercase, and then I split at the t. What do I get? Oh, this is a way to break up the date part of the string from the time string. Okay, so we've seen that stuff before, okay, a bit. The example, though, we're seeing up here seems extreme. Dot this, dot that, dot everything, blah, blah, blah. Okay? Can we do this on our own objects? Yeah, it turns out we can. Look at this object. My thing. Dot. Oh, it's an object. It's got a count. It's got a speak. Okay? A speak method. It says hi to whatever variable you plug in. Okay? And it says yell. Oh, it does something different here. Okay? Try chaining things together. Oh, how is this chaining working? Oh, with each function, it returns a reference to the object itself so we can grab it again. Oh, must be what the Metalsmith guys are doing. Okay, so let's copy that code and see if this works. Okay. Okay. We define that object. Now let's try my thing dot speed web dev. Okay. Hello web, hi web dev. Okay. Now if I go yell, oh, see, it's even showing me that the object's being returned. Web dev. Ah, so it returns twice. You ever wonder why sometimes when we execute a function we get null back? Because the function doesn't return anything. Every time we run one of these things, though, it's returning this, which is the object again, so we can call methods on it. So this is object chaining, method chaining type of syntax, okay? So don't be freaked out, okay? So it's making repeated function calls. Can we do this without? Yeah, we can do it without. But this is a nice pattern, okay? Without chaining, we do this. Var Metalsmith ms. Metalsmith set some metadata, and we'll learn about what that does, okay? Set the source, set the destination, set clean, set ignore, then run it, okay? Same thing, okay? Same thing, okay? Now, we're going to create our own plugin to see how this flow works, okay? I think I need to change branches. Okay, let's come here. Get branch, in case we forgot what branch we're on basic. So now we're going to go get, check out, plug. Okay. Now we're on basic plug. Okay, plug in hello. What is this? It's a function that returns a function. Module exports. That's right. We're working in Node.js, so we don't say export. We go module exports is equal to the plugin, which is this function that you call to get the plugin. Okay. A little bit of indirection, but we're working in somebody else's framework. Okay. So we're going to stay with that framework. Now, how do we actually use those things? Okay. Use plugin hello. Oh, use our hello plugin. What's our hello plugin do? Not much. Okay. All it does is build. Oh, sorry. We're using it here. But back up here, it just console logs. Okay. This function in here, which is going to be given a bunch of file information, Metalsmith information, and this thing done. Okay. All it's going to do is return hello class from my plugin hello. Let's see if that works. Okay. Do the command line with us. Node build.js. Starting processing. Okay. Hello class from my plugin. Okay. Finish processing. Okay. So where did we do all this? Where is this coming from? Okay. Oh, console log starting processing. Oh, that's right. This is just a JavaScript node program, so I can do anything I like at any point. Okay, so before I did anything with Metalsmith, I just said starting my processing. Okay, at this, oops. Okay, at this point, right here, we tell it to use the plugin. Does the plugin actually get called here? No. It's going to happen in here as part of this build chain. Okay. As it does the build operations. Okay. Now, our plugin is given the files, Metalsmith, and done objects. Let's look at these with a plugin. So I'm going to create yet another plugin, and which I'm going to call info plugin, that's going to do the following. It's going to go JSON stringify the files. Now there's some special buffer stuff going on in Node that we really don't need to be concerned of. So I just do a special thing to replace that buffer thing with strings. Okay, you can see that in the code, and if you want to look up about Node.js buffers, you can see the Node.js documentation. So I'm going to stringify this files object, okay? And I'm not going to actually do anything in this loop. Object keys files for each. Yes, this is straight out of the Metalsmith documentation. Like I've been telling you all along, everybody loves to use these array methods. Okay, so files is some kind of array-ish thing. Okay. All right, let's keep going. Or let's run it. Okay, so let's run the two plugins. Okay, use plugin hello, use plugin info. So I'm going to come over here to my file, use plugin hello. I gotta go buy plugin, use plugin info. Okay. Let's go and run this. So I'm not expecting you to go through all these details with me right this second. Ooh, what did we get? Whoa. Hello. Hello. Class from my plugin hello. Hello class from my plugin goodbye. Okay. Look at the global metadata object. Hello world, my course. Okay, let's go back to the info plugin. My plugin. What did it do again? Okay. Files, Metalsmith. Console log. Oh. Console log, stringify files, replace buffer. Okay. This is where we would really. Okay. Okay, what did we get? Look at the global metadata object. Hello, blah, blah, blah. And then we get all this data, another text, contents. This is all the information about each of the files. Oh. So we're seeing all the files, and then at the end we get to see. So all the files all the file information is being passed in to each plugin. Ah, okay, so here we see this big long output. Okay. In the goodbye plugin, that's what I forgot to show. That's why that came up at the top. In the goodbye plugin, my plugin goodbye, return function, blah, 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 set immediate. Okay, this is for synchronous, asynchronous operations. Don't worry about that. Hello class from my plugin goodbye. Console log, look at the global metadata object. Console log, so that, if I take the Metalsmith information fed to the plugin, and I look at metadata, that corresponds to any stuff I might have sent up here. Okay, so I can pass any information I like into all the plugins. Okay, that's cool. I don't know what to do with that yet, but of course, we will see. We will see. Okay, just putting things back. Setting the metadata. We saw how to do that already. We just say Metalsmith, their name, metadata, and we pass it an object. Okay, add any variable you want. Okay, use them in all the other plugins. They'll be available to any other plugin. Okay, cool. So we're seeing the system. Now, it's this nice general system. It'd be nice if we got some use out of it. So first thing, let's process some Markdown. You think this is a common thing? Yes, it is. There are Metalsmith plugins for working with Markdown. You can find them on NPM. Okay. In fact, there's not just one, but there are 3 different Metalsmith Markdowns. Okay. There's Metalsmith Markdown, which I'm going to use in the example, and this is Metalsmith Core plugin, because people use Markdown a lot. Okay, in creating static sites. Not all the time, but a lot. There's Metalsmith Markdown It, which uses a different processing library. And then there's Metalsmith Pandoc, which uses a popular Pandoc document converter that has tons of extra advanced features. Okay, so my examples here will be using Metalsmith Markdown when I create documents and things like that, and hence when I create a lot of my when I create my website, I actually use Metalsmith Pandoc because I use some of Pandoc's extra features. Okay, so to use this plugin, you'll have to install it. Okay, now you'll require that plugin. Okay, so look at this: Markdown required the Metalsmith Markdown plugin. Okay, now we're going to say, oh, we're going to use the info plugin. We're going to use the Markdown plugin. Okay, so I'm going to look at the files before processing. I'm going to use Markdown, okay, processing, and then look at it after the processing to see what's happening. Okay, so you don't want to do this for a big site. We're using this in a sample situation. Let's make sure we check out that branch. Oops. Git. Check out. What is it? Oh, it must be called Markdown. Okay, let's take a look at what we're starting with. Okay, what's source look like now? Oh, source has some Markdown in it. Okay, it's got a file, me. Okay, all about me. Okay, that's okay. So it's got 2 Markdown files in it. Okay, let's see what happens here. Node. So I'm just enhancing the same build file, right? I started with very simple, then I put in some of my plugins so I could understand what's going on. Now we're going to try and get some use. Node build.js. Notice you can call that file, this file, something other than build. You can call it whatever. JS. Okay. So what happened here? Lots of stuff. Okay, starting processing. Look into global meta. Here's another text. Okay, my text, blah, blah. Oh, I went too far. Here's text. Ah, here's Markdown. Here's me Markdown. It's got all sorts of junk in it. Okay. Here's my restaurant Markdown. Blah, blah, blah. All sorts of stuff in it. Okay. At some point, oh, I think we're starting again with the contents in the info plugin. Now we're coming down. Text, okay. Text, okay. Text, blah, blah, blah. Oh, no more Markdown. Now it's me.html. They transformed that file from Markdown to HTML. Look, the contents has H1s and all sorts of stuff like that in it. Here's another one, My Restaurant HTML. The output files now don't include Markdown. They've been converted to HTML. Nice. So it ran a nice converter on us. It didn't convert the text files. Why not? Because they're text files, not Markdown files. You can see it right here. Okay, good. Results. Okay, so here's all the results. At the beginning, we get Markdown, and afterwards, we get HTML coming out. Okay, now we got some issues. We're not there yet, right? The HTML aren't complete, right? There's no body, HTML, or head elements. There's no links or navigation between pages. There's no styling or JavaScript functionality in the pages. Okay. So what we want to do, okay, is we want to use a template. Okay. That's what we've used before for boilerplate. Okay. So we're going to use a technique called Metalsmith layouts. Okay. It's the most straightforward. This is a newer approach, but this is the most straightforward approach to me, so that's what we're going to talk about. Okay, the idea is we got to install some things. Okay, let me go to this branch. Okay, branch it. Get checkout. Oops. I forgot the name of the branch. Get branch layout. Get checkout layout. Okay. So now we're going to use Metalsmith layouts, as you see here. Okay. And notice order does matter. Okay. So we want to process the markdown first, then send it to the layouts. Okay. Now, we've got a new directory called layouts that we set up, and we got a template in it. Don't worry about the template language. This happens to be Nunchucks, which looks like Jinja too. So if you haven't seen these before, that's okay. But notice, the top is the boilerplate, right? Meta, here's our HTML, the head plate, title, all the same title. So nothing, this is all generic. Oh, then this is where some kind of substitution takes place. Okay, contents get substituted in here. Okay, so that's what we need to understand. Let's go back and look at build it. So it says, let's see, where did we say? Use layouts. Okay. The default layout. Okay. And where is the directory we're keeping the layouts, the templates? Oh, layouts. Okay, so some generic configuration stuff, but nothing earth-shattering. Okay. So, a template file, we studied that. Updated build, okay. We just went through that. Okay. Let's render it ourselves. Okay, let's run it. Node build.js. Took a little longer. Must have been loading up some more software. Yes. Okay, let's take a look at the output. So source, now we go to the build directory. Me. This is the test file. Is this a complete file? Let's take a look. Body, main, head, all the same as the header. So we're not complete yet. Okay, but we got to start. Okay. So let's see where we're going now. Okay. issues. So we made progress. All our HTML files have the same title. There's no metadata description or author information. Okay. Do we need a separate template for each page to add metadata? Ooh, that sounds terrible. That sounds like creating a page for every page we want to render. That's back to manual stuff. Okay. So basically, we want to attach metadata to files. Okay. If you were generating your static site from a database, you wouldn't need this. Okay. Your metadata would be in that database. However, we're generating our static site from files. So let's see a common technique for dealing with that. There's a markup language called YAML. Okay, it's a human readable data serialization language. Blah blah blah. Isn't that what we have JSON for? Yeah, bear with me. This is simple. At least we're going to use it in a very simple sense. Basically, by YAML front matter, we're going to take at the very top of our files, whatever files we're running through this, okay, we're going to have 3 dashes, a variable name like title, a colon, and what we want in the value of that variable. Okay, title, like the title for the page. Description, like the description we want to use in the meta description tag, etc. Okay. So if I have that kind of information, I'm going to substitute it in my template. I get author information, description information. Let's take a look. This is cool. But where does it come from? Where did it get there? Okay, check out YAML. Okay. Now YAML's a lot more powerful than I showed you, but this is all I use it for because most of the time I'm using JSON for more complicated data. Okay. But it's very readable in the head. Now, let's take a look. We went to the YAML branch. Okay. Professor, yeah. Nothing really changed here. No. No, it didn't. Let's go look at the source. Let's look at my restaurant. Ooh, we added a bunch of stuff. We added that title block. We did it here too. Okay. Well, let's run the thing and see what happens. Oh wait, let's double check our view, our layouts, our base layout. Okay, we added substitution. We added author, description. Something's going on here. Let's first see if it works, then we'll puzzle it out. Okay. Node build. Okay. Let's go to the build directory. Look at this silly thing. Oh, the title changed up here. Let's take a look at the code. Head. What's in the head now? Author metadata. Ooh. Description metadata. Good. And title. Title. All about me. What's going on here? Okay. How? Metalsmith, by default, uses the gray matter library. Okay. This library parses front matter from a string or a file. Okay. It's fast, reliable, and easy to use. Okay, so that's why they're using it. Okay. Very cool. So let's do some more processing. Let's add a handcrafted web page. Okay. So myrestaurant.html. Okay. So after running node, let's see that we had this. Did I put my restaurant HTML build? Okay, we get the following. Okay. Oh, homework 2 HTML. Do I have that here? Build homework 2 HTML. Okay, blah, blah, blah. So we had that. Okay. We get the following. Great, but content of homework to CSS. Is that right? Take a look. It's a CSS file, right? Oh, this worked. Oh, wait a second. This has already been fixed. Let's see. Okay, so let's talk about this. Before I fix things, this is what I got. It looks like I put my CSS in an HTML file. That's not good. Here's my text file. My plain text file got wrapped into a HTML file. What's going on? When we used the MARKDOWN plugin, it only processed the .markdown files, okay? Because it knew better. The Layouts plugin processed everything, okay? Metalsmith sends all files, except those it ignores, to all the plugins. It is up to the plugin to decide which to process, and it may need help. Oh, so how did I fix this thing? Let's take a look. Somewhere there must be a secret in build. Use layout, default, layouts. What's this thing? Pattern. Pattern star. Okay, include everything, but don't include text, don't include CSS, and don't include homework.html. Okay, there's probably other ways to do that, but what is this thing? Okay, I added, controlling layouts. The pattern parameter takes a multi-match field, whatever that is, to filter out. This is a popular technique. A quick look at NPM showed around 1 million downloads a week for multi-match and over 9 million for its faster replacement micro-match. Okay. Let's see if I'm out of date. I think I'm out of date. So let's look at micro-match. Okay. Glob matching for JavaScript node, a replacement and faster alternative to mini-match and multi-match. What did I say? 9 million downloads a week? No. 28 million downloads a week. People must use this kind of stuff a lot. Okay. This has cool matching rules that help you match complicated things. Okay. And exclude things. Okay. It's powerful. I don't always remember all the rules. Okay. But that's what's at work here. This technique is very popular. Okay. Otherwise, you want to get that many downloads. Okay. So, what does Metalsmith do? Every file in the source directory is transformed into a JavaScript object. That object contains a member called the contents that holds the contents of the file. The YAML front matter in these files also added to the object as members. Okay. So let's say, and this example comes straight from the Markdown homepage, which is very long. You have to read all the way to the bottom. Okay. So here we have some front matter with a title and a variable called draft. Okay. When Markdown processes that, it'll turn it into an object. Okay. It'll keep the path name to the file. It'll have the title gets added as a member variable to this object. The contents is the actual contents of the file. Then it's got all sorts of information about the file, the sets of the file, okay? Okay, and look, it adds this variable draft there too. So anything I add, okay, into the header, that front matter stuff, any variable I add in there gets translated here, okay? I have multiple different templates I actually use on creating my website for different types of pages. One of the things I put in there Okay, there's a default template, but I can actually override and tell it to use a different style of template. Okay. In addition, all the files, that files thing that gets passed to our templates, all the files get passed as an object, okay, to the plugins. That's what's going on there for processing. Okay. Okay. Now, putting things to work. Okay. There are more plugins out there. Okay. A couple that I have used, I currently use and rely on Metalsmith changed a lot because when I'm updating files frequently for my classes, a lot of the other information on my website doesn't change at all. Okay. So Metalsmith's changed looks to see which files have actually changed. Other interesting things I've used in the past, Metalsmith format check, interesting looking, auto table of contents and stuff like that. Okay. How would you add navigation? Okay. A menu. Okay. Only want to define this menu once and keep things consistent and avoid broken links. How about putting it in a JSON file? How are we going to import that JSON file and such like that, Professor? Oh, I guess we could wait a second. Okay, here's the JSON file. Let's go to this example. Get checkout now. Okay. Let's take a look at the code. Okay. Nav require .navjson. Navjson. Okay, it's just a bunch of titles and URLs. Ooh, okay. Ooh, nav. Oh, look. I've got a little file. Oh, this is the template engine that's iterating the items and links. Okay. For item and links. Okay. How does that get that? Okay. I go menu include nav and JK. Okay. And this thing gets, okay. How do we, oh, look at this. The link information, links, got passed in from the nav that was required, read in. Okay, this is a nice trick about Node.js. If you import a JSON file, it gets turned into a JavaScript object or array. Okay, naturally, you don't have to read it first and then call parse JSON. Okay, if we're reading in that stuff with information about the links. Okay, we're passing it as the metadata, the global metadata that's available. Okay, so that's available to all. Okay, so that's what's going on in this. So we got the links get passed into here. Then we iterate through and create this UL. Okay, a few touches, add some CSS stylings, and pick some ugly colors. Run the node build again. Let me do that. Build.js. Let's go to the output. And let's try it again. Me. All about me, my restaurant, the homework set. Oops, that one doesn't have a link in it because it's a custom page. That's right. All about me. Okay. Are you going to use this to make a website like this? No, it's small. It's silly. Okay. Are you going to use it to make a huge website? Yeah. Okay. If not this, others. Okay. So you've seen, if you haven't, here's the example. Okay. Here, my home web page. Okay. It's got all sorts of different courses in it. It's got Complete courses that have all sorts of pages with like textbook-like features and stuff like that in it. Okay, and things like that. It's got stuff on SDMs. A popular one that people like to go to is network simulation with Python. Okay, this has a lot of pages. Okay, especially the textbook part. Okay, other people. Okay, then we got. Okay, when I update things on this webpage. Okay, especially when I'm doing my current courses. Right, if you're around here, you might be taking my website course, and you know that the course material page changes frequently and often. Okay, I just run Metalsmith. It knows that the other pages most likely haven't changed much, and it'll see that with the change times. Okay, so static site generators, no, not much use for a 3-page site. For a site with thousands of pages, or hundreds, or 20, you want to keep up to date and nice, okay, and not have to go hand touch every page just when you update a little bit of stuff. You add an extra style sheet, where would you add it? You'd add it to the template, right? Need to do something on a particular page? Another story, you're allowed to do that, okay? So, static site generators, okay? They are a modern way of creating very fast, secure sites that don't have to change too often. In addition, there's a trend of keeping a bunch of the site very static and then having an app kind of localized to a single page, okay, that interacts with users, okay? So the rest of the site can't get hacked and stuff like that. So there's all kinds of hybrid things going on out there. But static site generation, important concepts, important to know, important to use, okay, in the appropriate places, especially these static site generators.